And I think that's one of the things that Daphne kept trying to tell us as the younger talent. Protect your heads, protect your bodies, protect your minds and your spirits, because wrestling has this ability to chew you up and spit you out. And it happens more often than a lot of people talk about. And I think a lot of people don't talk about it because they get labeled bitter. You know, I've experienced that. Daphne experienced that. So many people in wrestling experience that. But we also understand that the wrestling business doesn't owe us anything. It goes on with or without us, and that's the unfortunate reality here. And I just hope that people continue to put more respect on her name and to continue talking about her, because she doesn't deserve to be forgotten. And I think that in her own way, she also inspired a bunch of generations of women that you guys love and cheer for today. And I think that her vibe opened up those doors for women like me. You know, as you guys know, I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling growing up, so I missed her time in WCW because I wasn't allowed to watch that. So it wasn't until after I got into wrestling and I started researching and looking at the territories and where different people and wrestlers came from and stuff that I finally saw Daphne in WCW. I had only seen her in TNA, and I saw her with Crowbar, and it was like one of the coolest things I had ever seen. I was immediately in love. I was like, I can tell exactly, and I'm not saying this because, you know, my podcast is on his brand or whatever, but I could see why Vince Russo hired her. Like, I could. She is the epitome. She's the embodiment of what you want out of a superstar. She was passionate. She had innate talents that weren't from wrestling that she brought to wrestling. She was creative, but she also had integrity and a voice. And as much as she was like her on-screen character, off-screen she was like it, but also the complete opposite, because she was kind. She was a sweetheart. She was sweet. She was kind-hearted. She was smart. She had this ingenuity about her. She was creative. She was focused. She was athletic. She was passionate and amazing and just so cool and positive and boisterous, and she just had this laugh that made you want to smile too. One of my favorite convention moments I ever had was when I was booked with her and Mischief, and it was the three of us at this like comic book sort of convention place in California, and I had a blast that day. I felt like those were my women. It made me feel like, looking at them and what they accomplished and stuff, and the doors that they opened, and the fact that Victoria was one of the first women I saw on TV, that made me feel like I could be in wrestling too, that I could be successful too, that being unique was okay. It was in fact sought after, and it would be inspired, and you know, being unique was great, not a hindrance or a handicap like I originally thought. You know, their creepy macabre sort of vibe was so my own, and I thought, oh wow, you know, if I could take bits of Victoria and Sherry Martel and Velvet McIntyre and Daphne and morph them with some pop culture stuff that I loved, like Rogue and Poison Ivy and the Phoenix and Dark Phoenix and Maleficent and Eliza Dushku from Buffy and Madam Hydra and all this other stuff, I was like, I think like this could be what Taylor Hendricks could really be. And you guys really got to see that come out of me and my inspiration and creativity in Ring of Honor. And that was in part due to Daphne. And it kills me that I don't know if she knew just how much that meant to me. And so I think that this should be a testament to what I hope you guys get from this episode is, you know, you can either be grateful or full of regret. Grateful for all the things you took the time to say, or full of regret for all the things that you could have said but didn't. And that is one of the points I wrote about for Fightful.com when John Huber passed away. And you know, that's the thing about eulogies, is the people we all talk about in those eulogies, they're not necessarily there in person to hear them. So I would rather say these things while people are alive to hear them and to feel your sincerity and your genuineness, you know. So many people in wrestling feel like they have to be disingenuous and sacrifice their integrity to make it. But I think Daphne would agree with me when I say that you know, your dreams aren't supposed to be at the expense of your integrity. And I feel like she was one of those people that personified that. You know, she was full of integrity and spirit and just everything you would want to be. And she really inspired me to fight for myself, to advocate for myself, to learn to trust my instincts, and to know that I'm not as terrible as people make me out to be in the ring, and that being different is good, not bad. You know, when I saw her in TNA, I thought, oh wow, maybe I can do this, you know. And then when I got signed to TNA, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be with all these women that, you know, I watched and idolized, and I get to learn from them. How awesome am I? Like, this is gonna be so great, like the opportunity of a lifetime. And then, much to my dismay, they were all leaving as I was coming in, but I was still looking at Angelina Love, and I was still looking at Velvet Sky and Mickie James and all these other women. I'm thinking, wow, these are women. They are stunning. They are smart. They are articulate. They are well put together, and they are established. Like, who the heck am I? Like, I never felt more like a little girl in my life, so unprepared and uncomfortable in my own skin. And Daphne just really sort of changed that for me slowly, with little things that she did that were for me, and things that she did for other people that it had nothing to do with me, but that I got to see with my own two eyes, you know, and I got to hear about. And it's like I said on Twitter, if I could recount all the times I saw her do advocate selflessly for others, I would. Unfortunately, not all of those stories are my stories to tell, but I'm really hoping that people will open up and tell those stories, because they deserve to be told. And Daphne deserves to be understood. Shannon deserves nothing but the absolute best respect that we can put on her name. And I'm one of those people that will always be grateful. I feel angry and and sad and blessed and proud and happy. I feel like all of these different emotions, like a cacophony cascading over me all at once, from my head down to my toes. I'm sad because I never thought that this is, you know, how her story would end. I'm sad because I don't think she knew just how much she meant to me. I'm angry at, you know, the things that some people were saying in comments before she passed, and I'm proud to have known her for the moments that I did, and I'm happy that I can feel blessed enough to say that she did touch my life in a significant way, to the point where even though I am gutted and sad that she's gone, I know that a part of her is going to live on because of people talking about her and telling you who she was. And that's what I hope people continue to do, because it seems like once something isn't trending anymore, people kind of move on. And, you know, like I said, the business doesn't owe us anything. It moves on every day. But I think, you know, people like Ashley Mazzaro and Hana Kimura and Test and you know, Daphne and so many other people, they deserve to be talked about a lot more, you know, so much more. Shad Gaspard, you know, another one, you know, they just deserve to continue to be spoken of, so that they are remembered and not forgotten. And that's what I hope that people will do and join me in doing, and is one of the major motivations for the reason why I want to dedicate this episode to her today. You know, I had to really sit down and think about what I would want to say, and there's just so much, and I really think one of the things that I do want to stress is that you, the fans, have so much power to really affect wrestlers' lives for the better and the positive. And I think you guys undervalue yourselves as fans, because sometimes the things you say can really gut a person. And I wish that in her final moments that she would have felt love. And, you know, it's so like her to have a plan. And I hope that, you know, Boston University, in conjunction with Christopher Nowinski. I hope that they can really do what Daphne hoped and, you know, find information in her brain to aid others, so that this doesn't have to be the reality and the ending of more combat sport athletes' lives, you know, and the families and friends and fans that love them, you know. I'm trying not to cry.